Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Upstate Real Producers Beyond the Pages, where we tell more stories about some of the top real estate performers, about who they are, not just what they do, kind of seeing behind the transaction and what kind of got them where they're at today. So today we have Kiersten Bell with Berkshire Hathaway, and we're excited to have you. Kiersten, you have been phenomenal basically since you became a realtor. You're a rock star, but you're a family person. You love the community and you love to serve people heart as well. So I just want to tell you, Kiersten, I'm so excited to have you here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're like the first 5 to 10 people we had on the cover for Upstate Real Producers. So very grateful. Obviously, we were very young and starting then. So kind of full circle now. We're kind of just talking here live and kind of off the pages.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today, Robert. I'm excited to dive in a little bit. Yeah.
Well, let's just dive straight in, Kiersten. Who is Kiersten?
Oh, great question. I guess it depends on who you ask. Right?
Well, let's find out both sides.
Yeah. So I started in real estate when I was 23, which kind of defined, I think, who I am now. But I started out as being like an introvert, very shy, afraid to talk to people, not really like a salesy type of person. And that's really kind of how my entire business has evolved, not to be a salesperson, right? But to be a guide. And so, I think that for me in my world, I'm a mother of 3, married, and I'm not athletic, nothing about me is athletic at all. But I really do, I love my job and I love being creative, thinking outside the box, and I really love obstacles. Like I like challenges. So for me, that would be a hobby of mine, to like fix things, figure out what the issues are, make it work.
I know, like sports, business, I've been doing what I'm doing basically for a decade now as well. And I really give a lot to who I am today. A lot of people have sports idols in the world. I repeatedly say this, my idol in the world is my dad. I really think some of the life lessons as a kid, I always tell people the car rides come back up at 25 years old and you start understanding, right? Who or what is that one memory in your life that you feel like really kind of shaped and molded you and kind of like allowed you to kind of take that trajectory?
Wow, there's quite a few. That's a deep question. Yeah, I think a lot changed for me when I had my daughter in 2012 because it really launched my career as a realtor, right? So I was always serious about the job, but it gave me a different perspective on helping families, but also kind of that drive, that need to like really dig down. Like, what are we doing here? Because 2012 is kind of when the business started coming back, right? Like we just came out of a lot of craziness. I started in 2006. So there was a lot of years there where we were scratching our heads like, what are we really doing here? And so for me, at that time I was 29 years old, and it was like a transition period where I had to pivot to really get serious about how to manage it all. So yeah, I think seeing her and being like, oh crap, what are we doing? So yeah, that would be my biggest piece, I think.
And then being successful, obviously, just like any industry, people don't realize that it doesn't just come, right? There's a lot of effort and things that's put inside of it that, sleepless nights or put in more hours than anyone else on your team. What is that one interaction alone that you think that people don't realize you have to do in order to run a successful business?
Yeah, I kind of learned this today in a team meeting. Like a lot of realtors, a lot of successful people are underestimated at first, right? Like they've maybe been somewhere, done something where not everybody believes in them or their business model or whatever that might be. And for me, that drove my success. Not anyone that would know me from my past would ever expect me to be a salesperson or to be successful at that. And so I think that underestimation has just really launched me in every direction, as a mom, as a realtor, as a friend, all of that.
And you mentioned, and I love this, obviously being a new parent, being a mom. So I know that means a lot to you. I think I met 2 of your kids the other day.
Yep.
I don't think I met the third one. I don't think
he was hiding behind someone, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, matter of fact, yeah, he was. Yeah, no, that is right. What would you say, just like in general, what family means to Kiersten.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest piece of success, right? If you can find a way to work that into your job, into your life, that's amazing. But, you know, my family, I think as most people, means everything, right? I can't wait to spend time with them. I want to watch them grow. I loved listening to them tell stories about their day. I mean, everything about what they do is just so precious to me. But it's also one of the hardest things ever because you think that they're like you, but they're not like you at all, right? They're totally different people. So success there is taking the time to be present and like learning more about what their goals are and how you can help them in their goal. Or stay out of their way. I mean, half the time we just have to stay out of the way, you know?
Yeah. I'm learning that now. Even at 9 weeks old, I feel like I'm in no way.
You probably are.
Yeah. So, because like you said, you just, you think naturally they like the things that you like. They want to do the things that you like. Or like, we think we had this uncanny ability to kind of, at 9 weeks old, to get them to do whatever there is, and they're still learning the world. So I love that you said that. Like from a new parent, that's some really good advice.
Yeah, when they start acting like you and talking like you, you'll learn a lot about who you are. You're like, wait, no, I did that.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah. You start understanding from a different perspective.
For sure.
And then, so obviously in the crazy day-to-day world of being a realtor, being a mom, a wife, what are some creative outlets that you have, or just some hobbies that you do with so many things going on, being so successful in the business, kind of like keep you grounded?
Yeah, I have to find water. Yeah, I have to go be outside, not do anything. Like I'm the one, if we're at the lake and everyone's, water skiing, I am just sitting still. So for me, it's slowing down. It's trying to relax. Like that's a hobby of mine. Because I tend to just do too much all the time, right? I'm there for everyone. I like to just sit and kind of observe and take deep breaths. That is how I stay grounded. So we like to go to the lake, go out to Clemson, sit in the backyard, look at the sky, like do as little as possible.
Yeah. And if I was sit with your family right now or friends, and what would they say is like, hey, that's so Kiersten?
Yeah, probably that, like pouring a whiskey, sitting on the back deck and just sitting there. Yeah. Listen to music. I'm a big music fan. Yeah. I like everything. So there's always music going on and I just enjoy peace.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
What's that favorite whiskey? What's some of those favorite songs? Like we're sitting on your back porch right now, Kiersten, and you had to pick that whiskey, you had to pick that song that's just like, all right, this is gonna bring that peace. What would that be right now?
Ooh, yeah, okay, probably Tom Petty.
Okay.
Don't Back Down. That would be kind of a motto song for me. Always like standing your ground, all of that. But then as far as whiskey goes, Balvenie Caribbean Cask gets me every time.
I love that.
Good one.
I've recently kind of dabbled in the bourbon world a little bit, and so I do have this question, and maybe this is like completely irrelevant. So what's the difference between like whiskey bourbon and bourbon?
So you're probably thinking Scotch, right? So Scotch is going to be generally like the single malt stuff. So the way they make it is different. So bourbon is going to be mostly like, I think Kentucky and all of that. But yeah, so Scotch is my general go-to because it's drier, a little more peatiness to it. Yeah, bourbon to me is sweeter.
Yeah, so not just your local realtor, you kind of get that whole world too, huh? I love it.
I try to know.
And Kiersten, what would you say, like, what's a one fun fact about you that most people don't know or they wouldn't just guess about you?
I think everybody would know that I'm a terrible singer. Just hearing
Let's hear it.
No, never. My kids don't even, I don't want to hear it. Gosh, yeah, so my socks almost never match, right? So if we have to go to a show and I have to take my shoes off, I am in trouble every time.
So are you one of those people that have like the sock basket where you just put socks in the basket, you just get whatever out?
Drawer, yeah. Okay. I try to get the color right, but
it don't matter. It could be a Nike and
no matter how hard I try, at least two of the kids have the same size shoe as me, so we all somehow interchange all of our socks, and I end up with weird stuff all the time.
And so we're basically, if we will, wrapping up the real estate season. It's always real estate. There's always something going on, always opportunities. Like, but right now in your world and the season that you're in, what would you say are the most important relationships or priorities for you right now, where you're at in life?
For business, I would say I'm building a lot of relationships with builders, right? So I'm kind of expanding my portfolio into some development type work. It's interesting to me. I really like the day-to-day buyer and seller scenarios, the everyday realtor stuff, but at the same time, I feel like I need to do more. I need a new challenge, because while that is fun, it comes easy to me, and I need a little bit extra, something a little bit more to do.
Yeah.
So sort of like my side job, my hobby.
What about personally?
Yeah, personally, man, right now, personally, my entire goal is kind of what I talked about before, is to slow down a little bit, take some vacations, spend some time with the family, do some things I haven't got to do. My oldest is a teenager now. So personally, I'm trying to meet less people, actually, and build my relationship with my family by being more present. Yes, less focused on work.
I love that. And I always say, like, a phrase that my dad taught me a long time ago that I didn't personally really understood until I got older. And he always said, you can visit the future if you listen to the people who've been there before you.
Right.
So we had to step back, Kiersten, to, let's just say, 15-year-old Kiersten. And knowing what you know right now, what would you tell that Kiersten at 15 years old?
I think it would be a very long conversation about confidence, honestly, because I think that is such a interesting time in our life where we're learning about who we are, but we're also starting to understand our parents more, maybe what we want to do. But I did not have a lot of confidence then at all. And I think it took me a long time to get where I wanted to go because I didn't have that basis, right?
Yeah.
So I had to teach myself that kind of in my mid to late 20s, to be honest with you. And I think had I had maybe a bit more perspective on what I could do, I wouldn't have held back so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're from more of the low country. You say Hilton Head?
Right.
You're from Hilton Head. I'm more from the Charleston area. So obviously growing up, beautiful place.
Right.
I love it, and a lot of people love it. But I always tell people it's something about this upstate area that's very unique. And I personally think that we live in one of the best places to live in all of America. Why the upstate?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so I was 18 when I moved here, which was 2001. And at the time, for me, I think I lucked out because I had a full scholarship to stay in state. And Hilton Head's at the bottom and Greenville's at the top. And I was like, how far away can I get? And there was a lot of, college, university options and stuff here. So it was a neat opportunity and it stuck. I mean, most of my family is relocated here from the low country. And I think that says a lot because moving away from the beach is generally the opposite of what people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you have the Four Seasons, you have, quick day trip to Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina. You can do anything in a day.
Agree.
You can see anything except for the desert, right? But yeah.
We'll live.
Yeah, right. We don't need that. So yeah, at the end of the day, you just have everything here and it's such an awesome lifestyle, right? In Greenville, the city planners and stuff, they're making it more interesting by the day. 2001, not a whole lot going on. Downtown Greenville is pretty quiet, but I think I definitely lucked out in moving here and starting my career when I did.
I think that's so crazy. You had that perspective before, Greenville is what it is today. You've seen this tremendous amount of growth. Not only I don't know if you looked at it from this perspective, I kind of sort of as you grew, Greenville has grown too.
Right. Oh, yeah. Very poetic. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I had a picture of downtown Greenville skyline in my office from, I don't remember what year, but I want to say it was 30 years ago at previous brokerage. And looking at it, you almost didn't recognize what those buildings were because so much of it has changed. And I mean, I was 18 when I moved here, so going downtown at the time, there was just a few bars for the most part, not a whole lot going on, so I didn't even go downtown. But I lived on Woodruff Road, and just the difference in the traffic and how much is built out there, how long it would take to get from one end to the other was insane, because growing up in Hilton Head Island, like, you can get everywhere in 15 minutes, right? It's just a tiny little place. But yeah, it's grown so much, and I think mostly for the good, right?
Oh yeah.
A little scary. Sometimes I blame myself for the traffic, for helping people relocate here. But at the end of the day, I think it's something that we're all really proud of. I mean, anyone that's lived in Greenville and moved away, at least anyone that I know or worked with, they've all come back 100% of the time.
I think it's just so unique, and again, like, I love the Low Country and it'll always be a part of me. But even like just the cost of living here and being able to do so many things, I think what's very underestimated is the food scene in Greenville too.
Yeah.
Like, you have different parts of the world that's here and it's so easy to get to. So I agree with you. I just think, you know, I'm a big travel person, and again, I love the Low Country, but really subjective for me, at least, was to Charleston Airport.
Right.
Well, you got obviously our very own GSP. We have Atlanta, we have Charlotte, even we can go to Asheville too if we had to, right? So I think that's just very unique where you can do that. And also, Kiersten, in such a busy world, and you have so many different going on. You have a team, mom and everything. What are you trying to be more intentional about in today's world, or even things that you're trying to simplify?
Yeah, big piece of everything I do is communication, right? And clarity around that. So setting expectations is huge, but trying to communicate that clearly. So a lot of what I'm working on is, I've had these systems I've kind of honed in on for the last many years, but is building upon that, like creating the YouTube videos, just like really helping educate people on every level, not just, let's say you're working with another realtor or someone else. They can still get some information from me and feel like they're secure in what their decisions are going to be, right? So taking some of my knowledge and experience and communicating that to as many people as I can to help them feel informed regardless of what they do in their real estate.
Thanks. I kind of did this with another realtor we were meeting with, and usually I ask, you know, when you interact with a client or just family, and say 20 years from now, what would you want them to say about Kiersten? What would the statements or the things that they would bring up the most? But I want to add another twist in there.
Oh.
What would you want, like, your children to even say? Like, hey, like, my mom was this, or she always did that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would say that I was a very hard worker, right? But more importantly, respect would be a lot to me, appreciation in that sense, where they knew that they were getting that honesty from me and that they felt secure in every bit of the transaction or anything that they worked with me on. And same with my kids, like constant honesty, respect, and appreciation, because it goes both ways. And that's how I think you carry on all your relationships, right? As long as you're giving that authenticity and truth, then everybody will understand that, respect you, and then the business just keeps going, right? That's what they hire us for.
Yeah.
And that's what we're supposed to be as parents, right? It's all the same thing. Like, we're nurturing and we're guiding people, but you can't do that if you're not open and honest about it.
Wow.
In a respectful way, right? You don't have to be mean about it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
And last one here, Kiersten, as we kind of wrap up, and any advice or a couple key points to you have. I've always kind of seen this, not being a realtor myself, but I've always kind of either saw people who have their real estate license or just continuously talk about being a realtor. Never really taking that leap of faith. What advice would you give them, or some key points, and like, hey, like, what would you have to do in order to be successful or get over that hump and deliver to your clients as well?
So, question asking, I guess, what maybe somebody that wants to get into real estate, what they need to do. Honestly, I would tell them not to do it. No, just kidding. Some people, right, should be told not to do it. But
I believe in that though,
yeah,
Kiersten. Like I
it's not
think
for everyone.
people think that's like crazy to say, but it's not for everyone.
Right. I mean, I would say the amount of people that have come to me over the years and said they want to be a realtor, and they either work with me for a minute or follow me around or whatever that might be, I'm all open to that. I enjoy that because I'm passionate about the job. I would say 90+% of them have realized that it's not like selling sunset, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting my hair done before I got here. I raced over here for another meet, right? But really, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of grind, and you really have to have a lot of self-discipline. And knowing when to quit is one thing, but also boundaries, right? So you need a therapist and you need mentors, right? So working for somebody on a team, I've always recommended doing that. And then getting to know other realtors, as many as you possibly can. Go to every event, go to every open house, really ask them questions. They want
You said go to Upstate Real Producers events?
I did, absolutely. They can come with me. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a fun job, but I mean, you need to have some savings and a lot of research. You have to be self-driven, to be honest, because just getting your license and going to work at a brokerage, I mean, they might have some training classes for you, but you're on your own.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that goes into it. And if everybody knows a couple of realtors, how do you stand out? So knowing who you are, what your goals are, and find some mentors that really kind of maybe match that, or at least they understand what you're trying to do.
Wow, I love that. Well, I think this is a good one to kind of like end on. Kiersten, again, truly very grateful. And I know we talked the other day, wanted to have you on. I think you give a perspective from, I think sometimes people see like, hey, here's this, I know you're probably not gonna like me saying this mega realtor that's doing all these things and very successful. But I always say this, there's not much difference between good and great. It's the little things that people do, the very intentionality things that they do. They just find a way to do those things a little bit better than what people are willing to do, and not feeling like they have all the answers to the test. Hey, like if I know how to open a lockbox, I'm just being funny here. If I know how to open a lockbox with 2 hands, how do I open it with 1, right? Like that may seem crazy, but those little things always just makes us a little bit better. Or like you said, communication. Like how can I take this to another level? One of the things that we're getting into is just getting everybody's birthdays. Like just be able to say, happy birthday.
Right.
You know, I think that means a lot to people, that you can think of that one day and where it really does matter, you know? So really appreciate that. And Kiersten, just, you know, if somebody was wanting to get in contact with you, wanting to keep up with you, you mentioned that you got some social media channels going on. How can they do that?
Yeah, honestly, the best way is still to call or text, right? The amount of Instagram messages sometimes that come through, it's mostly funny reels, right? But definitely find us there because we've got a lot of good material there, right? You'll get to know our personalities that way. Same with YouTube. But yeah, I think Facebook, not as much. Really terrible about Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the traditional way. I mean, I'm 42. I'm still a little old school, you know.
42?
42.
We'll never guess that. I'm not just saying that.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying
Keep
that.
this in the video.
Yeah. Well, whiskey works, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Well, good. Hey, everybody. I would just want to say, now you got to see a chance of Kiersten Bell, a little bit behind the scenes, who she is, and that difference between being good to great. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe just to keep up with more realtors that we're featuring in the upstate and just kind of seeing more who they are as well. So until next time, thank you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.